Hey beer tubers, welcome back to Maxwell Starr's beer review. Tonight I'm going to take a look at Greene King IPA, a British IPA from Suffolk, England. Anyway, first of all I want to say something. British IPAs aren't quite the same as what we get over here in North America, like American style craft brew IPAs are a bit of a different animal. In Britain, IPAs have been around for, well, many years and never really went out of style in the 1800s. The IPA itself sort of evolved into like a mild session bitter kind of beer over there, and generally have lower ABV, like a lower alcohol by volume, as well as a not as pronounced bitterness. Still good beers though. Over here, IPAs tend to have like very hoppy bitterness, as well as very like a higher than average alcohol content, like 7, whereas in Britain they're more like 3, 4. This one here is actually the export version. It's all we get over here in Canada. This one comes in at 5.0 ABV. So without further ado, make note that the styles of British IPA and North American IPAs are a bit different. It says Greene King IPA Export is brewed to a stronger 5%. Like I said, like a typical North American IPA is around like 7 or higher, depending upon what kind of IPA it is. It's brewed to a stronger 5% to recreate the original IPA taste and strength that characterized beer that was shipped to the Indian Raj in the 1800s. This award-winning beer is characterized by its hoppy taste and aroma with a clean, refreshing finish. And it's also got the same thing repeated in French because it's a Canadian bottle. Actually, one thing I thought was kind of cool is that, yeah, there's a paper label. It's just it's on there really good. Anyway, to give a little bit of history of what the IPA style is that before IPAs were around, the typical beer style was more like porters and stouts, and varying degrees of alcohol, weight of the beer, etc. However, when the pale ale came out, like beer types like pale ale, stouts, they don't survive long trips very well. So during the time of like the East Indian Trading Company in like the 1700s, 1800s, early 1900s, they were this type of beer, IPA, a well-hopped kind of beer, is brewed to be a bit has more hops in it for like as like a preservative, and it keeps the beer longer. The bitter type of beer ended up becoming a very popular choice as far as going for like what's your favorite beer, right? And increasingly popular the world over. Eventually, the IPA style just remained popular. Derp. Alright, so without further ado, I'm going to crack this open. It says right on it, Greene King's been around since 1799, although the IPA style really didn't pop up until, or it began to be documented until like the early 1800s. So, let's crack her open here. Anyway, so yeah, nice clear bottle. I'm hoping it's not skunky, but given the fact that they were pulling a whole bunch of these off of a pallet when I got to the liquor store, I've got a good feeling about this. I've also let it warm up. That's why there's a lot of condensation on the glass, just to get a better example of some of the flavors. So, give it a pour here in HD, glorious HD. Maybe some of it in the bottle. Just come up with a nice little 2-finger head, but it's got nice, like, large bubbles. I don't think that head's going to last very long. You can see it right there. Yeah. Let me see something here. See if I can get this to go. Yeah. Got a feeling that if I were to have poured that all in there, it would have spilled head all over the stove here. Just that. Cool. So yeah, clear bottle. Color-wise, got like an orange-red, kind of amber kind of color to it.
Got a nice color to it.
You like that?
Yeah. It's almost like, from my view, I'm not right in the light, but it almost looks a little maroony.
Here, I'll put it up to the light there for you.
Yeah, it's like a red amber. It's a pleasant color. Nice color.
Little touches of gold down the very bottom of that beer where the light gets through. But it's for the most part like a dark, like an amber orange kind of look to it. And that head's got like an off-white. Can you see that it's kind of like a creamy off-white color?
Yeah.
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 All in all, it looks very nice when poured into a glass. Let's give it a sniff. And this is one of the big differences between a North American IPA and a British IPA. Is that there's almost no malt, there's no smell, there's no hop smell into this. I've also been warned this is also like considered a macro brew, like this is actually widely produced, so there might be a bit differences if this is more akin to like what we would see as Molson towards a Pilsner, you know. Obviously a weak beer, but it doesn't strike me as a weak beer. I'd probably be insulting a few people by saying that.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to.
Give it a chance first before you
yeah.
insult.
What really strikes me in the nose, it's almost got a, it doesn't have much of a hop aroma. There's like a very faint, kind of indiscernible hop smell. But for the most part, you pick up more like a buttery kind of, buttery slash caramel kind of malt smell to it. Smells good. You want to give it a sniff? Okay, cool. Alright, so reload that. Yeah, it smells good. But it's not what you like normally come to expect from an IPA or anything. So let's give it a taste. It's got a nice bitter taste to it, but it's not a bitter taste that lingers in the mouth very long. There's like a touch of lingering bitterness after I've drank down the beer, but afterwards it just sort of disappears. And bitterness also floats around the mouth. It fills the mouth rather than stinging in any particular area. I mean, the most predominant sting is going to be on the back of the tongue where it lingers for a bit and then disappears. Taste-wise, there's a lot of like predominantly caramel flavor, but it almost has a creamy, buttery kind of like aftertaste to it. Very creamy, actually. It's got a nice, like that creamy kind of taste to it. It actually is kind of pleasing. And it seems to dissipate in almost like a toasted grains malt kind of flavor. I gotta define that as very pleasing, to be honest. I mean, as long as you're going into this beer expecting it not to be quite like a regular IPA you'd see over here, it's actually quite nice. And it's very smooth and very easy to drink. It's like a medium kind of bodied beer. It's lighter than your typical North American IPA, but it's got more of a softer kind of cream kind of consistency as it goes down. It finishes quite dry. Very pleasing, actually. So yeah, I mean, as long as you're not coming into this expecting an IPA, it's great. Like, I'm sorry, you're not coming into this expecting a North American style IPA. Yeah, so I'm going to take a few minutes and sit down with this beer and give some thoughts. I'll be right back. Alright, so what did I think of Greene King IPA? You know what? I actually rather enjoyed it. Had a very smooth, very nice taste consistently throughout the drinking of the beer. I noticed that the aftertaste, the bitterness in the aftertaste almost gave it like a mild licorice kind of flavor. As it warmed up, it pretty much stayed consistent to the original flavors that I got when I was first drinking the beer. I don't have any other British style IPAs really to rate this against, so I can't honestly say whether or not it's true to its general style. It's definitely not like a North American IPA, which tends to be a bit more hop heavy. But do I recommend this beer? Yeah, actually, I thought it was really good. I don't have anything really to base it on, but if I were to rate it in just the quality as a beer alone, very nice. I'm actually leaning towards giving this a 4.0 out of 5. Just because I thought it was a very smooth, very drinkable beer, and it had a lot of taste. My fiance, who's gone to bed now, she didn't think it was all that great. She thought it was more of a... She took a swig of it and thought it tasted kind of like tomato juice or something, but... just me, I would drink this again if I were handed to it. I got a note though that I think I pulled a very fresh bottle off of this because I'm not picking up any skunky notes at all. Especially giving it as a clear bottle, it should give something like that. But for me, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good beer. So I would definitely recommend it to those curious and see this on their shelves. But be warned, it's a clear bottle. And also be warned that if you're looking at the 3 letters in gold on the front of that bottle, and you're expecting it to taste like what you might think of as an IPA, you know, aside from maybe Alexander Keith's, this is actually pretty good. So for me, based on what I thought of the beer when I first chugged it down, there's better beers out there, but I rather enjoyed it. I would certainly drink it again. So yeah, 4.0 out of 5. Cheers.